Yo, it's your boy Dctree from Dctree-Nation.com, where we cover hoops and heroes. And today we're talking hoops. Alright guys, the Spurs are on a 3-game losing streak as of this video. And they got me to thinking, it's time to give the point guards a grade. We're almost halfway through the season. The All-Star game is coming up in a couple weeks. So let's give these guys a grade. DeJounte Murray and Derek White, I want to do a video together, giving both these guys separate grades. What would you grade them? But before I jump too deep into it, if you like my content, please sub to the channel. Okay, before I get started, I just want to say, hey, this is not a video to bash these guys. This is constructive video, constructive criticism, okay? The Spurs are definitely underachieving, losing to teams that they should not lose to, giving up leads in the fourth quarter. You know, we talked a lot about LaMarcus. We talked a lot about DeMar. We talked a lot about, Popovich's rotations. But what about the point guard play? We have to criticize that as well. And when you think about Murray and you think about White, together they're underachieving, okay? They're being less productive than I thought they would be. Especially when you think about someone like White. White coming off of the Team USA, coming out off of a breakout playoff performance, last year against the Nuggets. You would think he would come in with a lot more offensive punch, offensive firepower. And he has his games every now and then when he drops 25 or drops 20 or drops 17. And then he'll go like 5-6 games without really being a factor offensively. And I understand that DeMar and LaMarcus are, kind of hogging the ball. Well, hogging isn't the right word, but they take most of the shots. I get that. But at the same time, White is non-existent. Against Chicago the other night, he had 0 points. 0. Wow. Like, that is bad given the fact that he's playing solid minutes for the team off the bench, okay? The same can be said about DeJounte Murray. Murray has been starting, but sometimes he looks confused, he looks lost, and he's a turnover machine. At this point, Murray is averaging 2.1 turnovers a game, which is a lot when you consider that DeMar DeRozan, the guy with the ball in his hands most of the time, taking most of the shots, playing most of the minutes, only averages 2.5 turnovers a game. So, Murray is really, just coughing the ball up. He did that in particular a few games ago. He had 4 turnovers, 4 bad turnovers. It just seems he seems confused or seems lost as far as a point guard. Now, defensive rebounding, lights out. Steals, lights out. Individual defensive stats, lights out. But when it comes to scoring that basketball, when it comes to driving and kicking, when it comes to, finishing at the hoop, he cannot do that. He has some serious holes in his game. But okay, to be fair, I understand. I can hear you guys huffing and puffing because looking at the stat sheets that I put up over the last 10 games, they had some 13-point games. They had some 14-point games. So you're thinking like, hey, what more do you want from them? To be honest with you, when you look at the totality of the season, 40+ games so far, they're only averaging about 10 points a game a piece. Murray, that's a season high or career high. For White, though, that's, basically a reflection of last year. So depending on where you look at it, you can say, well, White hasn't gotten any worse, but you expect at least one of them to break out. Like before on the channel, we predicted that Murray would average closer to 15 points per game instead of the 10 he's doing right now. And the same for White, averaging closer to, I think, 13, 12 points per game coming off the bench. So these guys are slightly off the predictions that we have for them and the expectations. This factor is even more emphasized when you consider that Patty Mills is having a better offensive year than both these younger players, okay? Patty Mills is averaging 11, 12 points a game. He's shooting like 43% overall, 40% from the 3-point line, and he's been hitting clutch shots for the Spurs, things we thought that Derek White were going to do for the Spurs, things we thought Murray was going to do for the Spurs. And they've hit their fair share of shots, but they're not consistent at all. And that is why the Spurs are struggling to win games, because the point guard play isn't consistent throughout. So with all these things considered, I have to give White and Murray a C-. This could have easily been a D+, but I felt like that was too tough of a grade, seeing that they are young players. They're learning each other, playing with each other. This has been a tough, leadership year as far as I'm concerned. DeRozan is questionable leader. LaMarcus has been questionable. So it's tough for them to develop in that type of system. Still, though, I think they're underachieving offensively, and I would like to see some improvement. I still think they're the face of the franchise. In a couple years, they will be improved and better. But as of right now, they're underachieving. I hope they do better the second half of the season. In the comments below, let me know what grade you think they deserve. All right, guys, that's it for this one. For more information on Spurs, check out the main page, Dctree-Nation.com. Like us on Facebook. Don't forget to hit that sub button. Help a brother out. Peace.